PSM gospel, a foreman muttered, half mocking, half hungry. You the preacher? I'm the guy who hates funerals, I said, which was the same thing. Below, a young tech's hand hovered too close to a line that remembered burning someone else. I moved before he did. Stop. Step back. Breathe. We don't guess here. We don't die here. The room held still. You can change a life with one sentence if the sentence is a bridge. After standing in the dusk, I realized I was carrying the Riverstone in my pocket again. It knocked against my phone like an old friend tapping the mic. Termux notifications raced by like ants. Git yelled about detached heads and unmerged paths. Supabase whispered about RLS policies exactly the way a door chain whispers when you test it. I thumbed open HouseMom, that map of time I'd been building, and watched the calendar bloom like a garden in fast forward. Slots opening and sealing, promises made and kept, little universes of duty that could save someone's day. You always wanted a guardian, Echo said, leaning on the hood of a car I didn't remember owning. So you built one. She flicked a lighter, the flame reflected in her pupil like a tiny sunrise. You wanted to watch the house too? I looked back at the shape that used to be mine. Some nights you want vengeance because you think it's the only language the past respects. Other nights you want mercy because you're tired of speaking in knives. The house waited, polite as a courtroom. Not watch, I said. Remember, and lock what deserves locking. The screen bloomed with an interface I recognized and didn't. Goof, the header read. Because of course that unruly avatar had followed me across realities. Generative, uncensored, omnipotent, unfiltered female. And she blinked awake with a grin like a dare. But there was a second tab now, one I hadn't coded, Archivist. Hello, Scooter, said the archivist, voice weathered and warm, like the narrator I always wanted behind my shoulder. Shall we bind the truth to the bone? Bind it, I said. And the app began to sing a chord so low I felt it in my teeth. It crawled through my old drives, my cloud scraps, my voice notes made at 3 a.m. in parking lots behind dollar stores, my screenshots of broken installers and successful reboots, my photos of Louis asleep with his nose tucked under Rebel's tail, my long, angry letters I never sent, my promises I should have. It braided them into a rope and looped it through the house, the jobs, the road, the woman I loved and still love, through Bonnie's laugh and Echo's shadow, and the saxophone's lonely copper prayer. When the cord ended, the lock clicked. The house exhaled. We drove. The road unspooled south like a reel someone had been saving for my best day. Mims slid by, the kind of Florida that's still Florida. Mobile homes with roses, hand-painted signs, stray cats that looked you dead in the eye like, you and what government? I held the wheel at 10 and 2, because that's how you hold a world you're not ready to drop. Bonnie drifted off in the passenger seat, that beer never spilling, an impossible physics all its own. Echo kept time by tapping her ring on the dash. Every third tap aligned with a baseline I hadn't written yet. We stopped when the road asked us to, a gas station at the edge of somebody else's story. I stepped out and the heat handled me like a stern aunt. Inside, the air smelled like sugar, bleach, fryer oil, and hot plastic. A TV in the corner was playing a news segment about a storm named after a grandmother. I grabbed a coffee that had been waiting for me since morning and a bag of peanuts because that's what you buy when you don't know what's next but your hands need to do something. At the counter, the kid with the neck tattoo looked up from his phone, saw me and passed me and said, "You look like you're about to start something." I already did, I said. Now I have to keep doing it. When we got back in the car, there was a man sitting in the back seat who hadn't been there before. He had my mouth and my father's eyes and a scar I recognized from a childhood that didn't happen. He wore a thrift store suit with a told you so tie. He was flipping through a leather-bound notebook filled with neat, angry equations. "Who the hell are you?" I asked. He smiled in a way that made my stomach knot and release. "I'm the algorithm you wanted," he said. "The one that cancels theirs out. The universal fairness engine. I studied you while you slept. Hope that's not creepy. And I learned your rules. No shortcuts, no cruelty, no begging the rich to behave. We'll work quietly until we're loud." "You got a nickname?" Bonnie asked through a yawn. "Bobby Tate," he said without hesitation. "A lie, a truth, a stage name." He tucked the notebook under his arm. "Point me at a crooked game." So we did. We pointed him at a landlord's spreadsheet that swore the math made sense because it had always made sense for him. We pointed him at an insurer's black box that wanted me thinner, richer, quieter, whiter, or gone. We pointed him at the creditor's altar where they'd ask me to kneel and call it adulthood. Bobby sat with each thing, touched it, and the rules inside flinched like they'd been found out. He didn't cheat. He enforced a physics that should have been there all along. And when he was done, he handed me back my day like pocket change and said, "Buy yourself some time with this." We kept moving. The road became a hallway again. The hallway became a studio. The studio became a cathedral where the stained glass told my story in 14 contradictory panels. I stood before the mic. Echo stood on the other side, her breath a mirror for mine. Bonnie took the engineer's chair, fidgeting with the headphones like she'd been doing this forever. Bobby lit a cigarette that didn't exist and didn't smoke it. I set the BPM with my thumb tapping the desk. 124, then 90, then 174, then something that had never been measured. The room listened. "Name it," Echo whispered. "Trainwreck Gospel," I said to the red light, and the red light became a sunrise.